Hello, I'm Danny Blakeman. My topic is the necessity of antimatter research and funding. There are many different viewpoints upon how the universe came to be. Are we in a simulation? Is there a God in the sky that created us? Or are we simply the product of a seemingly impossible scientific explosion that created the universe that we know of? No matter what you choose to believe in, there's one thing we do know that exists: antimatter. A singular gram of antimatter can produce twice the energy releasing power as the nuclear bombs that are dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which weighed a staggering 10,000 pounds each. My purpose of speaking to you today is not to teach you about why this occurrence is the most powerful thing in the universe. It is to persuade you that we need to continue to study this amazing phenomenon in order to better the human race and guarantee our survival. Antimatter is the key to human evolution, our ability to escape a dying planet, finding the cure for cancer, or even creating a new form of weaponry. This scientific phenomenon must be studied in order to obtain a better understanding of human biology and our ability to fight cancer. Cancer is the common plague to our society, known as the largest health issue that humans face. This is an illness that does not discriminate on age, race, or even gender. It is an issue that disrupts health around the world and continues to be one of the largest issues that human race deals with. According to the Global Burden of Cancer published by the Yale Journal of Biology and Medicine, each year, tens of millions of people are diagnosed with cancer around the world. More than half of the patients eventually die from it. In many countries, cancer ranks the second most common cause of death, following cardiovascular disease. With significant improvement in treatment and prevention of cardiovascular disease, cancer has or will soon become the number one killer in many parts of the world. Part 2. Although scientists are working around the clock worldwide to find the cure for cancer, the cure may be sitting underneath antimatter. Currently, proton beam energy leads the way in safely destroying tumors by depositing most of its energy in the focused area rather than also destroying healthy tissue. But, according to Richard Van Noorden of Chemistry World, the CERN scientists tested antiprotons, which are like protons but oppositely charged, with the same therapeutic idea in mind. An antiproton beam, they found, deposits even more energy at its endpoint, because the annihilation of antimatter with matter creates a shower of short-lived energetic particles. With the continued study of antimatter and its effects on cancer, we could be on the verge of a scientific breakthrough that would lead the way in safely destroying cancer cells with limited radiation exposure and tissue damage. By continuing this research, we could save millions of lives a year and destroy cancers that we weren't safely able to target before. The largest issue with antimatter to fight cancer is its cost. Van Noorden also stated, while a modern carbon ion facility like Heidelberg's costs about $150 to $200 million, an antimatter clinic would cost about $500 million. If we continue to research antimatter and find a cheaper way to produce the antimatter beams, we'd be able to safely cure cancer at the highest success rate yet, forever changing the way we look at not only human biology, but medicine in all fields. Now, this is where it starts to get interesting. Part 3. So what if I told you that through the use of antimatter, we could make a smaller, more compact nuclear bomb that has significantly less radiation fallout? You should care because politics are always laying the edge of all-out nuclear war. The ability to produce a weapon that could create the same nuclear blast, but without the radiation that kills and causes mutations for thousands of miles, would change warfare forever. Antimatter could be used in conjunction with nuclear weapons to create a safer, destructive bomb that do not cause the murderous fallout. According to Andre Gaspiner and Jean-Pierre of Herney Independent Scientific Research Institute, in this hypothetical bomb, the antimatter is in the center of a form of pellet, a tenth of a millimeter in diameter. It is surrounded by and isolated from the thermonuclear fuel. After compression by explosive lenses, the fuel comes into contact with anti-hydrogen. The annihilation reactions start spontaneously, providing the energy to ignite the thermonuclear fuel. If the chosen degree of compression is high, a bomb with increased mechanical effects is obtained, and if it is low, a neutron bomb. In both cases, the electromagnetic pulse effect and radiation fallout are substantially lower than that of conventional hydrogen bomb of the same yield. Obviously, world peace would be a better solution than a new type of bomb. So why would we research something that could just kill more people without the worry of fallout? Antimatter research is the field of weaponry is imperative to protecting our country from global threats. while at the same time limiting the amount of damage our normal nuclear arsenal does for hundreds of years to the environment and people around the same vicinities. Now, any scientist knows that the human race cannot stay on Earth forever. It is not a nuclear war that destroys life on Earth. It will be famine, disease, or even an apocalyptic asteroid. Currently, the furthest we have ever gotten a human away from Earth is the Moon, and unfortunately, the nearest possibility for a life-able planet is millions of miles away. Part 4. You should care about this because in order for the human race to continue its survival, we need a source of fuel that will be able to propel us through space at a faster speed for a much longer amount of time. Antimatter propulsion is the key to our ability to study space and travel to distant planets. According to Bill Steigerwald of NASA, antimatter, it's the most important potent fuel known. While tons of chemical fuel are needed to propel a human mission to Mars, just 10 milligrams of antimatter will do. A milligram is about 1,000th of the weight of a piece of original M&M candy. If that small amount of antimatter is strong enough to propel a manned aircraft to Mars, imagine what pounds of it could do. Not only is such smaller and stronger, it would propel you much faster. With the previous time of a trip of Mars being about 180 days, Kirby Meyer, an engineer with positronics research on the study, stated, "Our advanced designs, like the gas core and ablative engine concepts, could take astronauts to Mars in half that time, perhaps even in as little as 45 days. Part 5. The biggest issue that we face with antimatter in travel is its price. Obtaining that much antimatter will cost trillions and trillions of dollars. If we continue to research antimatter and can produce it more cost effectively, we would be able to truly study space and transport humans to other galaxies. Antimatter research must be considered a top priority to the human race. We need to increase funding of antimatter research in order to save lives, travel space, and create safer nuclear weapons. Antimatter has proven it to be effectively destroy cancer cells, safely create falloutless nuclear explosions, and even aid in true space travel. With antimatter in our back pocket, we could truly revolutionize what it means to be human.